Thank you for the introduction, Professor Hong. Annyeonghaseyo to everyone in Korea, and hello to everyone in the world. I'm in Malaysia right now, and give you a quick rundown of how AirAsia is doing in this incredibly crazy world that we live in now due to COVID. Obviously 18 years ago, I started this airline called AirAsia. I bought it for 25 cents with 2 planes, and we grew to 275 planes in 18 years, becoming the 4th largest airline in Asia, and really creating a whole new low-cost revolution that just wasn't there. At one stage, we were back to 2 planes. So it's like that snakes and ladders game, you know. You go all the way up to 97, and then you land on that ladder, or snake, and brings you all the way down to 2. But, you know, we've been through many crises. I got to admit, this is the biggest one. And I thought I'd seen everything. But we'll come back stronger. We remain very optimistic. And things are beginning to look up a little bit. We're now into September. Effectively, we kind of were hit with COVID in February. And we've begun to resume flying. About 30–40% of our fleet is flying. And I'm optimistic that by the end of the year, we'll begin to see borders opening up. Domestic flights in all our countries have opened: Malaysia, Thailand, Philippines, Indonesia, and India, and a little bit in Japan. And demand is very strong. So I think the first message, which I think has been seen in Korea and China, is that there's a huge pent-up demand for flying. I think AirAsia, if you're going to be an airline, is a slightly better market because we're regional, we're short haul, and we're low cost. I think the business market and intercontinental flying is going to be affected for a long time. We've adapted very quickly into this pre-COVID world, from the way we deplane people, to cleaning the aircraft, to we've built a whole new app where you can put your COVID test into our app. We've worked with clinics to make COVID testing as affordable as possible. And we're ready for this new world. I tell everyone, after 9/11, when we started 18 years ago, there was a whole lot of new security protocol. And we were all kind of thinking, is this the end of flying? It wasn't. We got used to the security protocol, and we were prepared for it. Similarly for health, there's going to be a whole list of new health protocol, and it will get better and better and better. And flying will get back to where it was before. But AirAsia hasn't stood still. There's one benefit of this COVID. You know, we've decided to pivot our business and use the major asset that many analysts have not really noticed in AirAsia, which is our digital background, our digital data, sorry. AirAsia is a digital company. 18 years ago, we were the first ones to use the internet to sell tickets in Southeast Asia. We were the first to embrace social media. And 2 years ago, before COVID, we started this whole data revolution, working with Palantir and Google. We started to understand data. We started to understand the power of our data. Our data is very high resolution, higher spend, because people are traveling on planes, and so the spend is much greater than on mobility, such as ride-hailing. And we have much higher levels of KYC, because we have passport information, very detailed credit card information, etc. So we know spending. Also, we have a very strong loyalty program. So we know our customers very, very well. We've now split our company, as you can see in the chart, into 2 groups. AirAsia Group is the holdco, and we have AirAsia Airline Group, which holds all our airline assets, which I'll talk to you about in 1 second, and AirAsia Digital, which holds all our digital assets, which is a very, very exciting part as we pivot our business from just an airline into a truly digital company. AirAsia Airline Group is now made up of 6 airlines, and investments in 3 airlines. We have a fantastic ground handling company with SATS from Singapore. And we've built a really great engineering company utilizing huge amounts of data. I think we're probably the most advanced engineering company in the world, called ADE. And our airline food has become so popular, we opened a restaurant called Santan, which now has 2 restaurants in Malaysia And we've just got our franchise license, and we're going to open up all over the world. My dream is to make Santan as well known as AirAsia and, dare I say, McDonald's. There's two things. One is governments have to take a little bit of a risk. I think closing borders for the rest of our life is not the way. We live in a global world. There's enough testing out there. There's enough contact tracing to make sure that travel can go on at a safe speed. So we hope governments are a little bit more positive in terms of opening borders and having an affordable testing system. Eventually that will die down, just like the crazy security we had initially after 9/11. So that's number one. Number two, airlines will have to play their part in contact tracing and making sure that it's easy to get tested. And I'm encouraged by the antidote really is governments being a little bit more courageous. Two, affordable and quick testing, which we saw recently. Bristol, I think, Bristol Myers came up with a $5 test, which can be done in 10 minutes, just with a prick, and affordable PCR testing and good contact tracing, and airlines playing their part. So I'm quite optimistic that that's going to happen. Of course, a vaccine is hopefully around the corner, which is not going to solve everything. And three is cure. More and more people, I mean, while COVID has horrifically taken many, many lives, it is about 2%. And it affects us, an older group, people like me, worse than all the people filming me who are all very young. So people like us have to be more safe. And fourth is, we just have to be a bit braver. We can't just live in caves for the rest of our lives. So I'm optimistic. We've learned a lot more about this virus. Governments are cleverer. We've got some better testing and vaccines are coming out. Plus, I think human race should be applauded, certainly in Asia, for the discipline that we've taken in bringing this virus under control. Malaysia is less than 10 a day. Thailand hasn't had infections for 100 days, with just one recently. Vietnam, Laos, Cambodia, Singapore, bar their migrant issue, have all done a good job. So, you know, we should also thank the people for being very disciplined in this. So it is dire, but you know, it's only one way, and that's up, and I remain optimistic.